action!
We are now on episode or chapter case 4 of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies. And we're on the Cosmic Turnabout day 1. And what's interesting is that we're starting off with the trial right away, which is interesting. Where are we? Load game, costume. Can I play with different costumes? Yeah, I can. The only reason I haven't is because I kind of just want to keep them default just to keep myself within a... I don't like it when different costumes distract from the narrative of the game. Like, this is probably the only one I can have Phoenix Wright put on instead, but I do like the open shirt, waistcoat, sort of like gold chain in the breast pocket type beat. This kind of looks cool. I hate the backpack, and not really a fan of like you know, the sort of like Japanese seifuku school uniform stuff. So I'm gonna keep everyone in their base outfits for this game. All right, let's start the trial. The courtroom bombing incident, a terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. Mr. Wright brought it to a resolution of sorts. That was me, that was him, and that was him too. Ted Tonate was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. If only it were that simple. Somehow I can't help but think that there's a darker influence at work. One that's lurking in the shadows, waiting. That's why I want to review the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. Oh yes, there was a trial that was actually going on when the bombing occurred. After all, I've got more than a few personal stakes in it. Episode 4, The Cosmic Turnabout. Space! Hell yeah! NASA! Hell yeah!
1 hour remaining until launch. Please begin your final equipment check.
Check complete. Everything's A-okay. We're ready here whenever you are.
Never mind.
Come in at 2. Come in. Do you copy?
I'm not nearly warm enough to be wearing this outfit. The fuck is that? time for another trial to begin. But this one is different. Oh, wait. Who the hell is Terran? We've already got some shit going on. And I was able to do my research and find out that Apollo was going to be the main character in this case, which is why everything's already read. Clay Terran. The victim in this case. He was a Hat 2 crew member and a close friend of mine. Oh, word. Just a stabbing. Simple as. The victim was discovered in the third floor boarding lounge in the main building. Sorry to bother you, but... Are you alright, Apollo? Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Chords of Steel exercises. Now I'm all ready to go. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure you'll be just fine. Oh, I bought you a present from my garden. What is that? Is this a lotus fruit? That's right. My grandma says lotus fruit is good for your eyes. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it, and thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my! Kind of tough though. You can't eat it raw, but thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oops, if she didn't think me weird before, she will now. I've got to calm down. Apollo, I'm sorry I'm late. Hi, Athena. Junie, I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? I get it, you sly thing, you. Athena, stop. Quit kidding around, Athena. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo, when will you ever figure it out? Figure out what? Huh? That is the longest sigh I've ever heard. Who's this dude? That is literally just NASA. This is it. It's all over for me. Oh, are you the defendant? They're gonna find me guilty. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Sol Starbuck. Well, Sol is a star. Sol is the star, which is a star, and Starbuck. Gotcha. Starbucks? If he loves coffee, then this is gonna be entirely hilarious. Okay. He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. We'd asked about space travel and he'd launch into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. Bro, he's so depressed it almost seems like an act. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that. Don't stop believing. Besides, you just have to go into space. You just have to go into space again. You just have to go into space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran. I can't believe he was murdered. I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Clay's gone, and I'm going to prison. I wish I could burn up like a shooting star right about now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. Huh? What is it? What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today. You'll see. In exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? Oh, well, about that. We didn't get to investigate the areas as much as I'd have liked, thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. I thought I was gonna soar like a comet, but I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've got to keep going. What about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't Claire your best mate? We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Apollo? The trial's about to begin. Let's go. This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. Okay, so this is post. I was wondering, I was like, is this the trial that was taking place during when the bombing happened? Or is this taking place after the bombing? This takes place after the bombing. Okay, so now we're in present day. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Sorry. Excuse me, Mr. Justice? Oh. Yes, Your Honor. What happened to your eye? Don't worry about it. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure? I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready. I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting everything is just a sty. I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. Very well. And the prosecution? The prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Silence.
Huh? Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Oh, you're breaking the shackles right now. The prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. What's up with Blackwell? Now then, I shall give the opening statement. No, I will. I'll do it. You will? What an unexpected surprise. This time, I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something is off with the two of you today. Yeah, what the fuck is going on? You both seem different somehow. Very well, prosecutor. Blackwell, your opening statement, if you would. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. That famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site, two explosive devices were detonated, and the launch was cancelled. My word, 2 bombs? How dreadful. The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and the murder. One, Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. So if you know that makes no sense, then why is he the suspect? That makes no sense. Also, I gotta run. I say I gotta run. Gotta do something real quick, so I'll be right back. Okay, everything's fine. No worries. Solomon Starbucks, Mr. Coffee Man himself. Isn't he that famous coffee chain? Correct your boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the Hat 1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, the mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he's a living legend. Oh, I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? Bear with me. Levan, who you might know, is messaging me about potentially streaming Trails in the Sky first chapter remake. And I'm letting him know that that might be a potential thing because apparently it comes out late this year. And I'm like, well, that depends on what I've got going on late this year. And I need to tell him that I'm streaming and I can't talk. Right. Oh, look at this. Mankind's hope for the future. I've got to make it back alive. Why is this a whole ass movie trailer? Oh, it is a movie trailer, right? Okay. Come along on a captivating space odyssey that will make your... I can't read. Come along on a captivating space odyssey that will take your breath away. A moving and thrilling documentary in 3D. The Hat 1 Miracle. Okay. What does it say on the left there that's blurred? On the top left corner, it's all blurred out. We've got a real space pioneer in court today. But even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. Returning to the subject at hand. Ah, yes. The victim was one Mr. Clay Terran, a subordinate of the defendant. Indeed, a loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't the result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant. And so he was sent not into space, but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. Does it? You haven't heard any evidence. You haven't seen any evidence. You haven't heard any testimony. What's so clear-cut about this case? However, there is one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. Oh, that's from the first case. What purpose does it serve exactly? Since you asked so nicely, it's your coffin. I jest. It's evidence. Why is that there? That silver box there? Is this present day? Due to its immense size, with little choice but to lay it where it rests now, we shall get to the contents of the box in due time. Oh my god, wait. I'm trying to remember the specifics of the first case. That box was there to what, carry evidence, was it? Oh, I might have to go back to the archives for this one. I don't remember. Because then it begs the question, did Apollo already have the bandage over his eye? I don't know that. I genuinely don't, and I have to actually go find out. I actually have to check. I actually have to check the tapes. Because that's hilariously funny. I surely not. And the annoying part about this is that to do this, I have to. Oh boy. Okay, I might need to go to my own channel on YouTube because I don't have the actual hard copy of the video anymore. Playlists, Dual Destinies. Okay. Oh, nope. Don't do that. Okay. This is entirely in the wrong order, but it's fine. Oh, this does not take place in the present. Yeah, this does not take place in the present day. Let's go over here real quick to this screen. Sorry. Where is the screen I want to show? There we go. So at the end of the first case, it's called, at the end of the first case, in this episode called Off in Search of Protagonist Aura, once Phoenix Wright defeats the big bad man, which you can't hear. Boom. Game. There's a little cutscene at the end. There's this case. Forward. I found that. It was a bomb transport case, which means this is probably the bomb from the. It might be the bomb from the space center, right? And he's got the eye patch here. Date, time, we don't know. And they specifically told us to the ultimate test. Date and time, we don't know. Now, he's got loads of bandages on him and stuff like that. But he's still got the eye patch, or the bandage over his eye. But he's also wearing this jacket, which is very similar to, if I go back to the game real quick. What that he is wearing. I mean, you can't see the rest of it, but the collar is exactly the same. And given that this is his friend, he probably dons the coat in respect for his old friend. He's like, yeah,
Sorry.
I'm leaving.
Taking a leave
There we
of
go.
absence.
Taking a leave of absence, off in search of protagonist Aura. Now, if I go back to the beginning, which I can't find because the playlist is out of order. I hate when it does that. See, return to court. Now, he's already wearing this, which means now that basically answers my question. I didn't even realize. So he's already wearing that, which means this takes place before the bombing in the court. And I'm going to hazard a guess that the rest of this case potentially takes place after the bombing. Right. That's all I wanted to figure out. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Does he even have 50 years left? Wait, what are we doing? Okay, yeah. Inner monologue, Athena. Inner monologue. Enough jabbering. Bobby Fulbright's the name. In justice we trust. Very well then. Please explain the details of this incident to the court, if you would. On it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you will find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Ah, here we are. Oh. So we've got Launchpad and Space Museum. Look at what's on the left side of this building. Take a look at this cross-section that the police have created. Oh, this is very confusing. B1, and then shelter. Oh, right, and on the left, move lower level, middle level, upper level, ladder. Okay. See the launch pad and the main building. The launch pad is the square building, and the rounded structure is the main building, right? Hey, Mysterious, I'm doing good, doing fine. Back at this game after a leave of absence from this game for a little while. We've more or less just got started with this chapter for the most part. You haven't really missed much. This chapter's starting off with the trial instead of an investigation. So right now we're literally going through opening statements right now. How are you? You got it. The incident took place in the launch pad 1 and in the main building's lounge. To quickly summarize, this is the death person, the person who died, who was Apollo's best friend. This is the defendant. This is the autopsy report. Discovered in the 3rd floor boarding lounge in the main building. So there on the right. That's all we know, pretty much. Also, we discovered that this case is directly linked to the first case in the game, because this case takes place directly before the bombing, the courtroom bombing. I think the case that was going on when the courtroom was bombed is this case that we're doing now. When I had to go back, literally this happened 2 minutes ago. I was going back to old footage from the first case of the game and seeing some details, and I'm like, oh yes, Apollo looks a certain way here when he should look a certain way there. And so this takes place directly before the first case of the game. So I don't know why we've done this big medias res thing where, you know, first case is present day, and then we've done 1, 2, now 3 cases, with this one being the 3rd case is taking place in the past, which is kind of weird. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony, as it'll make it easier to understand. Right, okay. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom, boom, shake, shake the room. What's that? Ghost at. Oh, thank you for the. Okay, so it says tier 1 sub, but that actually means it is a prime sub. Thank you, I appreciate it. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. I appreciate the sub. I said it 3 times, but I'm going to say it the 4th time. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. On the one on the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building, and 1 in the launch pad 1. Just before the rocket was. Oh, lots of things are happening. Hello, Fonz, how you doing? Let me see if playing Tekken. Which Tekken game? Well, I'm assuming the latest one, 8, yeah. Dying of a headache. Hope the stream volume isn't too loud. Was it from all the drinking yesterday? Are you hungover? No, I'm fine. I'm doing good. I spent most of the day in bed, mostly because I didn't go to sleep until like 12 p.m. this afternoon, as I came home from drinking last night and decided to sort out a bunch of admin stuff and figure out. I was sat in front of OBS for a while, and I was like, I'm just looking at the just chatting screen, aka oh, not that one, this one. Looking at this screen, I was like, how can I improve this? And I was stood looking at it for like a solid 10 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I think it's fine the way it is. I might make some small changes later down the line, but it is not worth me doing this at 7 a.m. in the morning when I haven't slept. Yeah, other than that, I'm good. On the 2nd floor. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in the launch pad at one time. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. T is Terran, S is Solomon, T is victim, S is defendant Starbuck. Okay. But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. Oh, that's it? Okay. A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the lounge, correct? Yep. Thinking he'd sabotaged the bombing, the defendant killed him right there in the rocket. Just look at this tragic photo. Oh my, is that a knife in the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor. It's the knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints off it, though, because the defendant was in his spacesuit. No prints. Okay, understood. By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and glove absent in this photograph? That is a very good question. And I didn't even notice that. We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity after all. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprints. Now there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What's this round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important to the victim, he took it with him as he escaped from the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case. You never know. In a pull-ups phase, leapt suddenly from 2 to 7. Are you saying that you've gone from being able to do 2 pull-ups to 7 pull-ups? Is that what I'm to understand from what you're saying, Fons? So, we know that the bomb in the main building was on the 2nd floor. But where was the bomb that was in the launch pad 1 located? That one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently, the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram report into the record. The trial's just started and we're already in a bind. We get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing, that will be the key. It will be the key, but hey, Twitch is like, hey, do you want to show an ad? No. Well, fuck you, you're going to have to show an ad. So I'll be right back in 3 minutes. Leapt from 7 to 7. I said, is that how many you can do at once? Yes. Pull-ups. That is the handlebars thing, right? Yeah. 7, you know what? As someone who definitely is very unfit, that's actually kind of goated. Because 7 doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm imagining myself trying to do 7, and I think I could, but at a cost. I think at a cost. So yeah, well done for that then. Details of the case. All right. Oh, let's save. All right. Just before the rocket was sent to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom, boom.
Hold it!
How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down, but the room it went off in was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there wherever and whenever people need my help. I'd go to the other side of the world or even the edge of the universe. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is, but I guess I'll leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Donor. Huh? What did he decide? Anyway, could you... Oh, he read my mind. Anyway, could you describe what it was like at the Space Center at the time? Let's move my camera. Where's my foot pedal? The bomb cut off the power to the central bank of the elevators and the 3rd floor lounge. Okay. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. Right, okay. The Space Center is pretty impressive to have its own shelter. Oh, I got that off a press. Nice. The power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. So, there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Wait, let me have a look at that. So, police officers and Wright police gave evacuation instructions immediately. There was a power outage and the affected areas remained dark. The security system switched over to the emergency power and continued to work. Evacuees moved to the basement shelter. Yep, that's right. One on the second floor of the Space Center's... Wait, what? Come back. Boom. One on the second floor of the Space Center's main building and one on Launch Pad 1. I can't look at that, but I can see it. All right, gotcha.
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives? Huh? What are you talking about? If the defendant really did plant the bomb on his own rocket, he'd get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine. A simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Astrophobia? What's that? Fear of outer space? A fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? Okay, I reckon I need to press because I'm getting new information every time I do. These anti-anxiety tablets were found among the defendant's possessions. To be fair, I should press because I've got nothing to go off. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. There are a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck. But that doesn't mean he'd go so far as to blow up his own ship.
Silence.
The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? No, not after the media had branded him Sol Starbuck, space pioneer extraordinaire. Given these conditions, the defendant could hardly run away like some base mutt. What? So that's why you think he resorted to the bombing? Naturally. He constructed this act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the Space Center, which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation. Now I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal. Oh, I can't. Okay. Let me see what happens when I go to the end. Wait, hold on. What was that? It's hard. It's rough at 100 kilograms. I might be getting this pull-up thing wrong. What exactly are you pulling up? Are you pulling up weights or pulling up yourself? It's like he's trying to give us as little information as possible. Maybe Prosecutor Blackwell's got his tongue. Well, don't let that hold you back. Keep pressing until we get what we need. Yourself. Okay, cool. I'm guessing that's how much you weigh. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. Or are you wearing weights? I do not know how much I weigh personally, in kilograms at least. I know how much I weigh. Well, I know how much I weighed the last time I checked in stones, which I want to say was somewhere around 9 or 10. But I don't know how that translates to pounds or kilograms. But don't let that hold you back. Keep pressing until we get what we need. Okay, that's basically, literally, she said it. Okay. Uno, dos, tres.
Hold it!
Are you sure it was only the two of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those two. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket. The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device? It sounds as futuristic and complex as a space center. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. It's not as amazing as you think because in the year 2000, before pre-2010, in the first Ace Attorney game, all the evidence lockers were fingerprint based, had fingerprint locks, so it's not that high tech. This is the door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel whose fingerprints are registered can pass through. I see. That is very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through that door yesterday? Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Jerichords. Then doesn't that mean it's possible that the director is the one who did it? Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs exploded at 9:28. Doing his job directing the launch. Besides having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts. He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. Okay. The two of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. So while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? You got it. In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, he would have for sure tried to stop the bombing. Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket? They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space. And then both of their hopes and dreams were dashed. If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape, carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. But after the escape, one of the two was found stabbed to death. And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were 2 of them. The Space Center director, Jerichords. She's back, and Detective Candace Arm. Her again. One of them was a detective? Yep, Detective Arm specializes in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant. 2 witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me. I feel like I need to return back to the first case again on YouTube because Candace Arm was the victim in the first case. This is tied to this takes place directly before the first case. I'm trying to remember why and how she died. Because it was said that the bombing happened in the courtroom and she died because of it. In fact, she died before the bomb even took place. I don't remember exactly. No, but it's pointless. I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime. What little I could get out of him only hurt my case. Justice Dono. Foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Corner over brick? What does that mean? Oh, look at that. Old school CD-R. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you take a gander at this. What is it? Footage from a security camera as the 2 astronauts emerge from the bowels of the launch pad Corridor 1. Oh, that's how the lady died? Oh, when you say brick, you mean rubble, debris. Okay. Yeah, brick completely threw me off. Rubble, debris. Yes, that is true. But it wasn't from it falling, was it? It was like the Ted Tonate guy personally did it himself. Right? Was that correct? I might have to go back to that. I might have to go back to the tapes again. To even a tense atmosphere. Sorry, that's me speaking from the past. Spot by the funny name. She's definitely going to jail. So this often search of. There we go. But all of that changed with what Apollo's. What was the whole thing? I thought I saw an R. She wrote Wood's name. No, she wrote something else, like a tag name. There was a bomb. Ah, there we go. All right. Photo. Oh no, Apollo got hit. Oh no, no, corner of the, oh yeah, corner of the rubble, yeah. And then hid the body in the bomb transport case. Right, okay. I think I understand now. I understand it now. The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. Now, I will direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering, which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim. It is another Spectre raid. We're going 2 for 2. We're going 2 for 2 for this shit, and it's not when you're wrapping up stream. Says who? What? Who says I'm not wrapping up stream? Goodbye, everyone.